He's the nurse.
Okay. My name is Robert Crystal. I am the director. I am hoping to get out of this, obviously a wealth of experience, but also since coming here I've fallen in love with directing, and I'm really excited that I got this directing slot. I had to apply for it and I had to submit this really long proposal to get it. It was probably something like 10-15 pages last semester. So.
Rebecca McCarthy, I'm the production stage manager for Goodnight Desdemona, Good Morning Juliet. It's this year's honor slot, which is directed by Robbie Crystal. And my job really as stage manager is just to make sure that everybody does their best to make sure that Robbie's vision really comes through for this play. For pre-performance, I'm in charge of organizing and almost like the secretary and the boss, and just keeping everybody in line. And during the actual show, I get all the power and I get to call the show, and I have my little headset on, and nothing happens unless I tell it to. Sound can't go off, light can't change, actor can't go on stage. Nothing can happen unless I say so. So, power's cool.
Student involvement is key on this show. It's called the Student Honors Production. As I said before, I had to apply for the slot. I applied for it last year and I didn't get it to direct as Bees and Honey Drown. And I don't think I was ready for it personally, but going for it this time, I realized that I was ready for it and that I could handle it. And the professors thought so too. So I got it, and an odd thing about this year was that 2 days later I had my first production meeting. And there we had my student costume designer, my student lighting designer, my student set designer. We were looking for a student sound designer. And from the first couple days we were all right there. And then as we came back this year, we had the student sound designer come in. We had some other students take up some pretty key roles. So this really is a fully student designed show.
Student director as well as student designer. Student other stuff too. I'm not actually in the theater department myself. I don't know what everyone does around here. I'd like to know because they seem to do a very good job of it. But it's all student run and created and things like that.
It's been a very interesting experience working only with students. I really enjoyed myself because it's so much easier, I feel, to communicate with everybody because it doesn't seem like there's a huge level of superiority and inferiority, or even though it's not supposed to be like that anyway, but it really does. It's so much easier to talk to everybody because they're, you know, in like the same position that we are.
We're all really supportive towards each other, so there's a lot of pressure taken off because we're all students. So the pressure to be perfect all the time, or that you have to meet any kind of deadline, let's say for knowing lines, there's a lot less pressure because it's more like a peer that's evaluating you than a superior.
It's been really great so far. Everyone's coming together. It's only a 5-person cast and we all get along, and there are lots of really quirky characters which fit our personalities wonderfully. So that's really fun to do every day, to get to come into this group of people and really enjoy yourself.
What's really great is that our director is a student, and he always takes into consideration the fact that we have things that's going on, schoolwork, things that might stress us out. So every day we check in, we talk about anything that might bother us, and we all try and be supportive towards each other if we're having a bad day. And I think that that's great for a production. I think it helps us bring out our most creative side, and it takes a lot of the stress away.
Every time anybody asks me, I just love to talk about how Robbie is so good at collaboration with all of us. If we have something that we don't understand, if we have something that feels awkward or is not working for us, it's so easy to just go to him and be like, I don't get this doesn't make sense, I don't feel right doing this. And he'll be like, okay, what can we do to make it work for you? And so it's been really fun, and I really like working with everybody.
It's something you can be really, really proud of when you get out of it. Not only for your own work, but everybody else's. To be part of a production that's entirely done by students is really, it's really unique.
I'm not actually linked to the department anyway, but I've taken part in 2 productions. I would say it's a very participatory culture, which you would expect in a theater department, but also a very welcoming culture.
We've got people from all over campus trying to work on this show, And it's a really, really neat involvement that, as a student, it's a huge opportunity. Not very often and not in very many schools do you get a full budgeted show as a student, and Oswego allows that. And this is the, I want to say the 29th or something like that, student honors production. And so I'm really excited to see what's going to happen.
Really interesting experience so far, working with all the students, having it be stage managed by a student, having it being directed by a student, and all the designers are students, so it's kind of a good camaraderie among all the people. We're all like put in a lot of input into the show, and it's also been really interesting playing 4 different characters, like one who's like in love with everything that he sees, one who's extremely evil, a mystical character, and a ghost who's creepy. And this is my last semester here, so this is kind of a good experience for me to have that.
To really show my range in a production where I switch back and forth from one scene to the next from completely different personalities. So that's another challenge this year. I'm really honored that Robbie thought I was up to it, and I hope I'm doing a good job. But it's something that I really enjoy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing everything come together.
Working with the students, working with the faculty, working with everyone, that it really has kind of shown me that this is what I really want to do. Even through all the frustrating parts and even through all the exciting parts, I've had a smile on my face the whole time, and I've really enjoyed it. So.